Welcome back to my channel. So today we want to look at a list of common job interview questions along with answering techniques that will help you dazzle your prospects and hopefully secure the role you want. So the first question we want to look at is, could you tell me more about yourself and describe your background in brief? With this question, interviewers like to hear stories about candidates. So you have to make sure your story has a great beginning, a riveting middle, and an end that makes the interview rich for you to win the job. You need to talk about a relevant incident that made you keen on the profession you are pursuing and follow up by discussing your education. In the story, weave together how your academic training and your passion for the subject or industry the company specializes in, combined with your work experience, make you a great fit for the job. If you've managed a complex project or worked on an exciting offbeat design, mention it. An example of an answer to this question would be, I come from a small town where opportunities were limited. Since good schools were a rarity, I started using online learning to stay up to date with the best. That's where I learned to code. And then I went on to get my certification as a computer programmer. After I got my first job as a front-end coder, I continued to invest time in mastering both front and back-end languages, tools, and frameworks. The next question we want to look at is, how did you hear about this position? So employers want to know whether you are actively seeking out their company, you've heard of the role from a recruiter, or were recommended to the position by a current employee. In short, they want to know how you got to them. If someone recommended you for the position, be sure to say their name. Don't assume the interviewer already knows about the referral. You probably want to also follow up with how you know the person who referred you. For example, if you and Stella, who recommended you, worked together previously, or if you met her over a coffee at a networking event, mention it to give yourself a little more credibility. If Stella works at the company and suggested that you applied for the job, explain why she thought you would be the perfect fit. Also, if you sought out the role yourself, be clear about what caught your eye. Extra bonus points if you can align your values with the company and their mission. You want to convince the hiring managers that you chose the company over all other companies for a few specific reasons. Lastly, if you were recruited, explain why you took the bait. Did this role sound like a good fit? Does it align with the directions you want to take in your career? Even if you weren't familiar with the organization prior to being recruited, be enthusiastic about what you've learned and be honest about why you are interested in moving forward with the process. Number 3, what type of work environment do you prefer? So with this, you want to be sure to do your homework on the organization and its culture before the interview. Your research will save you here. So an example of an answer to this question would be, that sounds great to me. I like fast-paced work environments because they make me feel like I'm always learning and growing. But I really thrive when I'm collaborating with team members and helping people reach a collective goal as opposed to competing. My last internship was at an organization with a similar culture, and I really enjoyed that balance. The next question that we want to tackle is, how do you deal with pressure or stressful situations? The employer wants to know, do you hold down the fort or crumble under pressure? They want to make sure that you won't have a meltdown when the pressure becomes intense and the deadlines are looming. The ability to stay calm under pressure is a highly prized talent. Share an instance where you remain calm despite the turmoil. If it's a skill you are developing, acknowledge that and include the steps you are taking to respond better to pressure in the future. For example, you could indicate that you've started a mindful practice to help you better deal with stress. An example of an answer to this question would be, I realize stressful situations are always going to come up. and I definitely have had to learn how to navigate them throughout my career. I think I get better at it with every new experience. Next question we want to look at: do you prefer working independently or on a team? Your answer should be informed by the research you've done on the company culture and the job in question. So you find out that research on the company that you've applied to is very important for your interview. Many positions require you to work collaboratively with other people on a daily basis, while some roles require you to work on your own. When you answer this question, highlight the best traits of your personality and how they fit the job requirements. It can also be in your interest to answer this question by highlighting the advantages and disadvantages of both situations. An example would be, I enjoy a blend of the two. I like having a team to strategize with, get diverse opinions from, and reach out to for feedback. But I'm also comfortable taking on assignments that require me to work independently. I find I do some of my best work when I can focus alone in a quiet space, but I really value collaborating with my teammates to come up with the best ideas. Finally, the last question which you are definitely going to be asked is, what are your salary expectations? Before you walk in for your first interview, you should already know what the salary is for the position you're applying to. Employers will always ask this question because every position is budgeted and they want to ensure your expectations are consistent with that budget before moving forward. I advise not to bring up the questions about salary until your interviewer does. So a typical answer to this question would be, based on my skills and experience and on the current industry rates, I'm looking at a salary around X amount of money. This brings me to the end of today's video. If you have enjoyed this video and if it has benefited you in any way, kindly subscribe and see you in the next video.